When Train Sim World 2 gave us the Livery Editor, it was a huge moment for the community. Finally, players could paint their own trains, recreate real-world operators, or invent fictional companies with logos, numbering, and even weathering. But since then, progress has been inconsistent. TSW3 brought nothing new for livery creators, but 1 year later, finally, TSW4 improved a lot. More layers, better text tools, and other improvements. It was a huge step forward, and creators from all over were finally able to create even better than TSW5 came with. Once again, nothing new for the Livery Editor. So, if the pattern continues, TSW6 could be the next big leap. And this is what we believe Livery Editor 3.0 should bring to take things to the next level. In this video, we'll explore top 9 features that the next livery tool should contain. Imagine you spent hours designing a stunning livery. You've placed the logos, picked the colors, weathered the panels, only to realize that you now need to repeat that entire process for other units in your fleet. That's exactly where this feature would shine. Right now, the livery designer is honestly a mess. The same units get spammed over and over, often with little to no variation, especially when it comes to freight wagons. A copy-paste tool for liveries could completely change that. You'd be able to duplicate your design and apply it across different locomotives or coaches, even if they're totally different models. That would save time and boost creativity across the board. It could work by letting you save your livery to a private library or as a reusable layer. Then, whenever you want, you could easily apply it to other vehicles. Just pick it from your personal collection and drop it onto a different loco or coach. Simple, fast, and way more efficient. This could go beyond full liveries too. It could work for logos, signage, graffiti, or any other complex shapes and designs you've created. But with the way the Livery Editor system works right now, that wouldn't be possible. If you build a logo using 30 shapes, it doesn't actually combine them into a single layer. It just treats them as a group of 30 separate layers. That's something that really needs to change. And that brings us to feature number 2. Shape merging. Combine multiple shapes into one single shape that only uses one layer, not 10. This would massively reduce layer count for liveries and make the editor feel like a proper design suite. And here's the thing. Matt from Dovetail once mentioned that liveries are rendered as images on the model, not as a count of shapes. That means this optimization makes sense both technically and visually. Handmade weathering is fun, but it's also time-consuming. Placing shape after shape to simulate grime or rust is tedious, and not always consistent. With weathering sliders, you could control the level of rust, oil stains, or dirt with precision and speed. Rust slider adds corrosion around seams, edges, and doors. Oil slider, it adds vertical streaks under vents or fuel tanks. Dust slider adds also a faded overlay, especially on roofs or bogies. Each slider would go from 0 clean to 100 heavily weathered, and you could blend the effects together to match the age or condition of the unit. No two trains would look the same, and you could finally capture that gritty, lived-in realism we see in real-world railways. Text matters. It's how we label trains, replicate operator names, or add number panels. But right now, the font selection is limited, and often too generic. With Livery Editor 3.0, it's time for real railway fonts. Plus, with kerning, spacing, outlines, and drop shadows, we'd have the tools to make authentic labels, plates, and logos without resorting to weird shape hacks. Every livery creator knows the struggle in trying to perfectly center a shape or align elements along the length of the car without any visual help. Snap tools would change that entirely. Adding grid snapping for precise spacing and centerline guides for perfect symmetry would change the process. It's the kind of quality of life feature that saves time and improves accuracy, especially for creators who want clean, symmetrical, professional results. The 1000 layer cap was a massive improvement in TSW4. But for ultra-complex designs and no helping tools like ones mentioned previously, it's still a bottleneck. With shape merging and better optimization, Livery Editor 3.0 should push beyond the current limits. And if creators had access to something like 3000 layers, it would give them the freedom they need to build even more detailed and creative designs. You made a beautiful custom locomotive. You placed it in timetable mode, and it's pulling default wagons that don't match your brand. It breaks immersion and wastes your livery effort. With a current feature that involves Livery Editor 3.0, the possibility to create consists for your service run in timetable should be a thing too. You can already see the foundation for this in the current formation designer, although there are still limitations. This can only be used in Free Room or Scenario Designer tool, but would work like this. Limitations in timetable mode still exist, even when you're allowed to choose your entire consist. For example, some locomotives and wagons are locked to specific variants. If you pick a tank oil service run, you can only use liveries made for that exact type of tank wagon. That's where a Livery Copy tool would make a big difference, allowing you to bring over designs from other tank wagon variants and apply them to the one you actually need. Right now, when you apply shapes in the Livery Editor, it wraps across large chunks of the train, side panels, doors, vents, and even parts you didn't intend to touch unless you are using Projection tool. But that can get tricky sometimes. So what if you only wanted to color the handrails, or the bogies, or maybe just the roof vents? With Livery Editor 3.0, we need a selective surface painting tool, something that lets you isolate specific parts of the model, paint just the handrails, and leave the body untouched. Add grime only to the underframe, or apply a logo just to the cab door, without stretching across the entire side. It would work like a paint mask system, where you can check or uncheck parts of the unit before applying color or decals. Not only would this give creators more control, it would also open up hyper-detailed liveries never before possible. Maybe it's a work in progress. Maybe it's a fictional operator you're building with a group of friends. Or maybe it's just not ready to go public yet. That's why Train Sim World needs a private sharing mode. While it's not a livery editor feature, still having a strong connection, you could upload a livery from your account and choose from 3 different options. Public as it is now, private only, or share it with specific people, or even team access for collaboration projects. But here's the best part. You also choose whether others can edit the livery or not. If you want to send someone a design and let him finish or edit it, you can do it. It should be your decision. After all, it's your work. You control who can see it and what they can do with it. This would make sharing more flexible, more professional, and way more community-friendly. Whether you're part of a community team or just want to test liveries privately with feedback, this would protect your creative process while still letting others experience your work. Let's be honest, not everything has to be public, but when you're ready to show the world, you should have that choice. And we came to the end. Top features that the Livery Editor need. It's true, it came a long way, but we know it can do so much more. If Train Sim World 6 wants to empower creators, storytellers, and detail lovers, it's time to go further. Smarter tools, faster workflows, more creative freedom. Livery Editor 3.0 could be the tool we've been waiting for. What feature do you want to see in TSW6's editor? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Train Sim World content. See you in the next one.